Hope all of you are doing well. After long gap, we came with the recording session. So hope all of you had the short vacation of winter, that is Puja vacation. I didn't got any opportunity to interact with you in the Microsoft Teams. That's why I'm uploading this time with the recorded session only. So before going vacation, we discussed about program coding, that is chapter number 6. So we discussed about program, what is meant by program, what do you mean by programming language, what are the different types of languages are classified, so how the language being converted from one language to another language. So that all things we've seen in our previous recorded session, which is already there in your recorded YouTube video. If you want to go through it. Okay. Now today in this class, we are going to, in this recorded session, we are going to learn about Java. So Java are the program components, basic components, what are there? So Java. So what we are talking about this Java, I'm not discussing about history and what are the features are there. So I'm not discussing deeply. So we are going directly to the main features, that is what is there inside that components of the program. So if you see in our language, that is in the algorithms and flowchart, if you see, there we are having mainly two things. That is the data which we are handling and the data which we are doing with actual work. Like for example, in the case of to calculate the area of rectangle. So we are declaring the two variables, that is length and breadth. Then after we are calculating area by using one more variable called length into breadth. So area is equal to length into breadth is the actual work which we are doing, and the data which we worked for handling, that is we are used, that is as a length and breadth, that is LNB. So in that program to calculate area of rectangle, we see mainly that, so the data which we are handling involved and also the actual data which we are working upon it. For example, so that we see data which we are handling is, that is length and breadth, and the actual data or work which we are doing is that area is equal to length into breadth. So first we are doing what exam creating the space for data and getting the input data. मतलब length का value हम लोग ले रहे हैं, breadth का value हम लोग ले रहे हैं. Then after actual work, that is calculating its work, that is area is equal to length into breadth. That is the actual task or actual work. So every program has its component. So mainly the data part and also the work part, that is actual work which we are working. So every program is having mainly two parts, that is the data part and the actual work which we are working. So please keep remember that every program or every problem is having, so the data part which we are working and the data part which we are, where we are creating the space to hold the values or to keep the input, and the working part, that where we are doing असली जो calculation और the असली जो processing process है और the logic part है, that is work part से. So a program has these components related to data. So data के लिए हम लोग को क्या बोलते हैं, वेरिएबल्स बोलते हैं, और एक है और लिटरल्स बोलते हैं, मतलब एक्चुअल डेटा. वेरिएबल्स इज नथिंग बट, so variables are the place where we use it to keep or hold our data. And in our mathematics definition also you are having variables, is that a variable is a variable is a name in memory location. A variable in a mathematics part, a value whose value is not fixed. The value the value is not fixed. In the same way, the computer also, it is a variable is some memory location which holds the data. So it is not fixed value. It will change according to the value if you change. The same how you got the definition in the concept of mathematics, that is variable means a variable is a value whose value is not fixed. A variable is a thing whose value is not fixed. In the same way, in the computer also same. But a variable is a memory location which holds the data, so whose value is not fixed. So हम लोग को जो मैं बोला हूँ प्रोग्राम में मेनली क्या, प्रोग्राम में व्हाट आर द थिंग्स वी आर हैविंग. सो द डेटा पार्ट एक है डेटा पार्ट, वन इज डेटा पार्ट एंड इज सेकंड पार्ट इज एक्चुअल वर्क पार्ट. सो डेटा एंड एक्चुअल वर्क, दैट इज डेटा एंड वर्क. सो डेटा कैसे करेंगे, डेटा कैसे स्टोर करेंगे, डेटा वी स्टोर्ड विद द हेल्प ऑफ data we stored with the help of the variables and literals. So what is literals again? So again, literals are the actual data that which we are working upon it. So literals are actual or fixed data values. Like for example, in the case of that is the area of rectangle L and B. L and B are the what type of data it will take. So area of rectangle में length and breadth जो है, so it should take the numerical values. So numerical values कैसे type numerical values, that all things are being done in the literals part. Variable जो है like L comma B जो ले रहे हैं ना, that is a it is a some name given to the particular value to hold the data. So literals are the data which we are actual work, our actual data which we are dealing with. So and also actual work done, that is finding the, for example, the program has components related to the actual work which we have done, like working instructions or commands which we have done, and the operators in the calculation of area of rectangle, length into breadth, into is an one operator, one mathematical operator that we are using, mathematical symbol, that is into, plus, minus, addition, multiplication, these all will come under operators. And also instructions or commands, that is like while we are writing the specific task, that input or display, start or output, so जो भी हम लोग print, these are all the commands which we are giving. And there is also one more word called identifiers. What is this? What is these identifiers? You see, so identifiers are the mainly the fundamental building blocks, are, I think I can say it is as a building blocks of a program, where how we can name over the specifiers. Matlab, identifiers in every programming language has some set of rules in naming of some particular variables. For example, if I say some words, there are some reserved words which we how to declare the particular variable, or how to store, how to declare the what are the rules in calculating the literals. Okay, literals means nothing, the data types which we are using. Okay, then also on what should be the length of the length, so that all things are given in this identifiers one. Again I am telling, names which are given by the user to different parts in a program is called identifier. Names which are given by the programmer or user to different parts of your program, the program is called as a identifier. So every identifier is having some rules, like see, identifiers are the fundamental building blocks of a program. The program design tokens, they are used naming all components of program, like classes, methods, variables, objects, labels, interfaces in program. So for example, just now we discussed it, that is we in every program we are having data plus and the actual work part, the data part and the work part. So data part में हम लोग जो बोला था variables and literals vision. Variables मतलब it's a values or the names which we given to hold the data, and the literals are the data which we are actually working on, whether it is a type of numerical or character or alphabetical. So what type of data which we are working, that all will come under on the literals. And when the work part, that is instructions or commands, that is operators, ये सब में आता है. So now every program has some common elements which are called as a tokens. So that is identifiers, literals, variables, operators, commands. So identifiers are the names which are given by the programmer to different parts of the program. So variable को कैसे declare करना, एक object को कैसे declare करना, एक मतलब एक method, एक function को कैसे declare करना, ये जो naming rules are given by the help of this identifiers only. So identifiers are the names given to identify different parts of our program. So identifiers are the names given by the programmer or user at the different parts of your programs only. So these words, classes, methods, or something words, they are getting the new words. Okay, I will discuss this two different words. Okay, variable means, I think you understood. Variable is a memory location in the computer which holds some data. Okay, whose value is not fixed. Okay, so what are the rules in naming of identifiers? मतलब वेरिएबल कैसे डिक्लेयर करना चाहिए, एक ऑब्जेक्ट कैसे डिक्लेयर करना चाहिए, जैसे क्लास कैसे डिक्लेयर करना चाहिए, ये जो नेमिंग रूल्स है ये बता रहा है कौन है, आइडेंटिफायर्स. ओके, identifier can have alphabets, digits, score, underscore and dollar sign characters. It can have alphabets, digits, underscore and dollar sign character. They must not begin with a digit. मतलब आपका कोई भी आइडेंटिफायर, लाइक आपका कोई भी वेरिएबल मैंने शुरुआत में नंबर से डिक्लेयर नहीं करना चाहिए. ठीक है, they must not begin with a digit. The upper case and lower case are distinct. So Java is very case sensitive. So जहाँ पे आप upper case है और lower case है, it should be very clear. So क्योंकि both को दोनों को बहुत difference हो जाएगा. So Java is very case sensitive. So we have to clear in your identification, that is where we have to use upper case and where we have to use the lower case. And there is no some fixed value. It can be of any length. and there must not be a keyword or booleans or null literal type. What is this you see? So every programming language is having its own set of keywords. तो मैंने हर एक प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में अपना रूलिंग में अपना अपना कीवर्ड्स है. जैसा कि देखिए ऊपर मैं दिखा रहा हूँ. So Java keywords, they are having some special meaning inside the compiler. So these are the some of the Java programming language का keywords देखिए. So these words cannot be used as an identifier. माने these words cannot be used as a identifier, एक वेरिएबल डिक्लेरेशन, क्लास डिक्लेरेशन, ये यूज नहीं करना चाहिए. these are having some specific meaning inside that particular Java software or Java programming compiler. So they are having some special purpose and cannot be used like a variable declaration. So these are the result keywords which are having some specific meaning is there. Okay, these are the some set of some reserved keywords of the Java. Okay, so abstract, boolean, break, data, byte, case, catch, char, class, const, continue. So these are having some keywords. These are having special meaning that you cannot be used as like a variable. Okay. So if it is declared as a variable, then it will not take the value. That is only they are telling. There must not be keyword or boolean or null literal. So identifiers क्या है? The names given by some user or programmer to different parts of your program. Okay. So identifiers can be of variables, identifier can be any object or identifier can be class, identifier can be any name. So आपका जो प्रोग्राम में कहाँ पे भी आप यूज कर रहे हैं आइडेंटिफायर की रूल्स के हिसाब से आप लोग लिखना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. नाउ Java developer some naming conventions also. Okay, see identifiers conventions are good. Names of all public methods and instant variables starting with leading lowercase letter. If the name has more than one word, the second and subsequent are marked with the leading uppercase letters. See, for example, I am having one variable called average. So average तो मैं declare कर दिया था, a small से शुरू किया था, कोई बात नहीं. बट जहाँ पे जो वर्ड्स है जैसा कि टू वर्ड्स मिक्स हो रहे हैं, सो बाय डिफरेंशिएटिंग विद द टू वर्ड्स द सेकंड वर्ड शुड स्टार्ट विद द कैपिटल लेटर. दैट ओनली दे आर टेलिंग in declaration of their variables and also in the case of your classes also. So that is only telling. So जहाँ पे two words का जरूरत है, so then use the second word with the capital letter. Okay. Next, all private and local variables use only lowercase letters combined with underscase. ये क्या है प्राइवेट मतलब लोकल वेरिएबल्स, ये विल डिस्कस इन द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. दैट इज प्राइवेट वेरिएबल्स मतलब क्लास का अंदर में पब्लिक मेथड होता है, प्राइवेट मेथड होता है. सो जहाँ पे भी आपका प्राइवेट मेथड और पब्लिक यूज कर रहा है, सो यू हैव टू यूज द लोअर केस लेटर्स ओनली. दैट ओनली दे आर टेलिंग. ओके. Next, all classes and interface start with the leading uppercase letter. So marked with the uppercase letter. माने classes करके एक होता है. तो आपका classes करके one object is there. I will discuss in classes and objects. So at the time I'll tell. So every class in your Java programming or in your programming should start with the uppercase letter only. Okay. So what is class? What is object? I'll discuss. Okay. Don't worry. Okay. In the next class I'll discuss. Then now if you see, if I say these are some of the valid identifiers, I think. So now if I say this is my file is there, I am writing this my file is a some valid identifier. Or in the case of let me show you, wait, I am just based on the rules of the identifiers, let me show you. Okay, based on the rules of identifiers, that is we follow whether we are following these rules of identifiers. Let us confirm that one. Okay, like in the case of my file my file is a word. Okay, my file is a one valid identifier, that is it should start with capital letter से शुरू हुआ है, so it is correct only. Or like is, I can also start with my file, capital A भी correct है. ठीक है. These are some valid identifiers. I am giving examples only. Okay, here to like this you can give for the uh, declaration of your variables or anything, okay, in your class methods like anything, okay. Now these are some valid identifier. For example, in the case of this identifier I given 29CLCT. Now I think this is not in valid identifier, because see, identifier should not start with the digit they are telling. So, but here it is started with the digit, so it is not a valid identifier. Clear? And I am used some variable called if. I used some variable called if. So this is also not valid identifier because it is one of the reserved keywords in Java. This you cannot use for the keywords. See, this is one of the keywords. So this question, they must not be keyword or boolean. Okay, identifier should not be used as a keyword. Okay, so this also cannot be valid identifier. So like this we can do. Java is very case sensitive. That is, uppercase letters and lowercase letters are treated very differently only. Okay, so that is like my file में जो देख रहे, the my file this is the different and my file this is different, both are different. Okay, both are having some specific meanings and both are different identifiers also. Okay, so looking like both are same names, but both दोनों का अलग अलग मीनिंग है, दोनों का अलग अलग आइडेंटिफायर नेमिंग हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ये कंप्लीट स्मॉल है, वो कैपिटल से शुरू हुआ है. ओके, इट शुड सो दोनों का मीनिंग अलग अलग है. ओके, सो इट इज वेरी केस सेंसिटिव दैट टू कीप इन रिमेंबर. ओके, next, literals. Let's go into literals part. Literals is very important part that which we are going to work upon. So literals, that is which we are telling that actual data which we are working upon. Variables are the memory locations in our computer memory, and the computer that which holds some value whose value is not fixed. Okay. Now literals. What type of literals or what type of data which we are working with? So they refer to fixed values that do not change the during or execution of your program. So they refer to fixed values that do not change during or execution of your program. Like in the case of the area of rectangle. So length value, breadth value. So length value, breadth value कैसे type का data accept करना चाहिए. So like length value should be numerical format. So what type of numeric it should capture? So like integer is a one data type, integer literals. Integer literals, it refers to the sequence of digits. There are three types of integer literal, namely decimal integer and octal integer and hexadecimal integer. The decimal integer consists of sets of digits, that is 0 to 9 preceded by an optimal minus sign, and an octal integer consists of 0 to 7 that we seen in the number system with leading 0. A sequence of digits a sequence of digits preceded by 0x or 0x is considered as a hexadecimal integer. This also includes the alphabets. They may also includes the alphabets A through F. Okay, hexadecimal में they बोल रहे हैं. Okay. Now, so integer literals में क्या बोल रहा है कि they are the numeric data values that do not have any decimal point. Like example, 17 is an integer literal. So for example, like 17 is there. 17 is an integer literal. Okay, like 17.0, 17.2, like 17.2 is there. So 17.2 is not an integer literal. Okay, or they are not integer literals. So integer literals will come under from only decimal part or octal integer part and hexadecimal part. तो डेसिमल पार्ट मतलब 0 से 9 तक जो भी नंबर है जो फॉर्म होता है, तो वो डेसिमल नंबर में आता है. और 0 to 7 जो भी ऑक्टल है वो आता है, बट लेकिन देयर इज नो पॉइंट वैल्यूज, तो रियल वैल्यूज नहीं है. So they can be integer values, maybe plus or minus sign followed by decimal point number with no decimal point. Okay, with no decimal point, no other symbols are allowed. Only minus हो सकता है, plus minus हो सकता है, but not be points. Okay, so this is not an integer literal. This cannot be an integer literal, I can say. Integers are only the values of plus or minus. Okay, plus or minus whose value is fixed. Like these are the some common valid identifiers. Like 18 I written, minus 18 is also valid integer literal, and 2 is an integer literal. Okay, 32,000 something, that 320 is and some integer literal. So these are the integer literals. They are forming from the particular setup, that is decimals and octals and hexadecimals. Then what? How that point values will be accepted? So they are called as a real literals. So real literals are क्या है? The values, real literals are the values whose fractional parts are called real. माने जो fractional parts है, that is point के बाद जो decimal points है, they are called as the real values or the floating point literals. Like example, minus 0.75. So it can be expressed in exponential form, also in exponential notation. Okay, exponential notation में भी आप लोग दिखा सकते हैं 2.34 exponent to exponential, that is e power 2, that is power 2 के लिए real literals भी use कर सकते हैं. So nothing is but real literals or the floating point literals are numeric values with decimal point are called real rates. So integer में आपको decimal point नहीं होगा, जहाँ पे decimal point होता है उसको real literals बोलते हैं और floating literals बोलते हैं. Okay, example that is minus 0.75 which they shown. Okay, so these are our common real literals which we see. Now next, character literals. It contains a single character enclosed in the single quotes. So this you have to remember. So single quotes में, single quotations में आपको कोई भी अगर character लिखा था, इसमें भी a number, इसमें भी digit और इसमें भी letter, इसमें भी any symbol, they are all called as a character letters, character literals only. Okay, character literals only, as well as some certain escape sequences. Escape sequences are that is backslash, backslash, forward slash. So they all will come under like escape sequences. Okay. Now string literals, it is sequence of characters enclosed between the double quotes. So double quotes में जो बोलता है, double quotes में जो लिखा है, it may be an alpha numeric or the numeric or alphabets. So double quotations में जो भी आप लोग लिखेगा, they are all will come under string literals. So that is, string literals are the text or the alphanumeric data values. Okay, string literals are the alphanumeric values whose values are enclosed in the double quotations only. Double quotations में जो लिखा है उसको string literals बोलते हैं और single quotes में जो लिखा है उसको character literal बोलते हैं. Single quotes में हम लोग letter हो सकता है, digit हो सकता है, symbol हो सकता है. So any, it may be anything. So enclosed in the single letter उसको बोलते हैं character letter. Enclosed in the double quotation उसको बोलते हैं string literal. Okay, and numeric values used with the decimal points are called as the real literals or the float literals. Numeric values with the decimal point, that decimal values, that is minus or the plus minus symbol, they are all called as the integer literals. So mainly literals are the actual data which we are working with the variables while we are working. That is literals में broadly we are classified into integer literals, real literals and string literals and the character literals. So integer literals में हम लोग तो decimal digits होगा, that is 0 to 9, and octal digit, that is 0 to 7, and the hexadecimal digit, that is 0 to x to dx, and a to f, that is octal decimal range from the 0 to f. Okay, now which we seen in our second chapter number system में हम लोग देखा था. So now real literal integer literals are the those numeric data values that do not have any decimal point. So integer literals में हम लोग को decimal point नहीं होगा. So integer literals में decimal point नहीं होगा. Whereas in the case of, but it can be used as plus or minus. Whereas in the case of integer value, the numeric values which are having with the decimal point are called as a real literals or the floating point literals. The character literals. Character literals are should be enclosed in the single quotes. So it may be any number or any single letter or any symbol which can be enclosed in the single quotes. Then the whereas string literals are the sequence of letters or the group of alphanumeric characters which are enclosed in the double quotes only. Okay. So please note there are some special characters of escape called escape sequences. Like this can be written like a single character, that is slash t, that is used for the tab key. Slash n. Okay, slash n is used for going to the new line, that is enter key. And so you can use the double quotations like slash n and slash t for the valid character literals only. Okay, these are the main things which we are working upon it. So mainly the components of the program contains the data which we are working, and also the actual part, the data part and actual part. Data part में variables and literals part आता है. Variables are the memory locations in the computer which holds the data whose value is not fixed. So literals are the data which we are actual data which we are working upon it. That is it is broadly classified into three types, that is integer, real, and character, and the character and the string literals. Okay, that we've seen today. So next class we discussed about the different data types, that is how the different data types, that is int kya hai, so how the integers are there, and what are the different types of variables are there. Okay, how to declare the variable, how to initialize the variable. So that all things we'll see in the next class. So today in this video, we just discussed about the components of the program. So that is variables, identifiers, identifiers होगा, variables होगा, और एक operators होगा, और commands होगा, और एक होगा literals होगा. These are the things we seen. Okay, these are all called as a tokens. So called tokens. A smallest individual unit of your program is called as a token. द स्मॉलेस्ट माने आपका प्रोग्राम में 4-5 लाइन में कुछ भी एक पार्ट है उसको बोलते हैं टोकन. These tokens are classified into five types, that is variables, identifiers, operators, commands, and literals. Okay, clear all of you? The next class we'll see the data types which we are working. So data types, how the data types are classified. So that we'll see in the next step. How the data types are being classified. That all things we see in the next step. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Bye. Stay safe, stay home, be prepared. Clear? Hope all of your things are clear.